Welcome, one and all, and Merry Christmas. Whether you are snug in your homes, watching online, or right here in our sanctuary, Christmas is here. And that is the miracle, that no plague or pandemic, no insurrection or border wall, no shuttered doors or closed minds, no Scrooge of then or now can keep us from this beloved celebration. Whether it is announced by a host of angels or whispered by children hanging stockings or sung out by singers of all ages right here, one way or another, Christmas always, always comes. These are the words of Libby Stafford. And it came to pass in those days, as it is always coming to pass, on any ordinary day, in any ordinary place, that the days were accomplished that a child should be born, or a woman, or a man, born into sunlight, when despair was used up, had cracked open and fallen away like an empty shell. And this child's name would be called 1,000 beautiful names, every word there is for gladness, every word there is for love, every word there is for peace. For why are we here but to remind each other what hope looks like, what hope feels like, when you hold it in your hands and cradle it, whispering the quietest and bravest of lullabies? For why are we born but to awaken, to stand upon this humble, holy ground and know that we are blessed? Welcome, friends, on this holy winter night. Welcome into this time-honored tradition of carols, candlelighting, and reading of an age-old story. Welcome no matter if you believe in a virgin birth, attended by wandering wise men, shepherds, and barn animals, or if somehow you heard the distant singing of angels and followed a star. If you are here tonight, you belong. Merry Christmas, dear friends. Merry Christmas. Thank you, Bell Choir. That was just beautiful. I now invite Keith and Pat Sims to come forward and light our chalice and lead us in our covenant, which you'll find in your order of service.
Our covenant is a promise we make to each other in community. We say, with open minds and loving hearts, we gather to search for meaning, to care for one another, and to work together for a better world. We also light the candles of the Advent wreath. We have circled through the Advent season, seeking a change in our hearts and in our world, as these wax tapers have been transformed into light and heat. May we be changed by the spirit of this night, and may these lessons continue to change us throughout the year. We light the candles for peace, hope, joy, love, and for Christmas Eve. And now, please rise as you're willing and are able, and join in singing, "O Come All Ye Faithful."
This is Luke chapter 2, verses 1 through 7. In those days, Caesar Augustus issued a decree that a census should be taken of the entire Roman world. This was the first census that took place while Quirinius was governor of Syria, and everyone went to their own town to register. So Joseph also went up from the town of Nazareth in Galilee to Judea, to Bethlehem, the town of David, because he belonged to the house and the line of David. He went there to register with Mary, who was pledged to be married to him and was expecting a child. While they were there, the time came for the baby to be born, and she gave birth to her firstborn, a son. She wrapped him in cloths and placed him in a manger because there was no guest room available for them.
This is Luke chapter 2, verses 8 through 19. And there were shepherds living out in the fields nearby, keeping watch over their flocks at night. An angel of the Lord appeared to them, and the glory of the Lord shone around them, and they were terrified. But the angel said to them, "Do not be afraid. I bring you good news that will cause great joy for all the people. Today in the town of David, a Savior has been born to you. He is the Messiah, the Lord. This will be a sign to you. You will find a baby wrapped in cloths and lying in a manger." Suddenly, a great company of the heavenly host appeared with the angel, praising God and saying, Glory to God in the highest heaven, and on earth peace to those on whom his favor rests. When the angels had left them and gone into heaven, the shepherds said to one another, "Let's go to Bethlehem and see this thing that has happened, which the Lord has told us about." So they hurried off and found Mary and Joseph and the baby, who was lying in the manger. When they had seen him, they spread the word concerning what had been told them about this child, and all who heard it were amazed at what the shepherds said to them. But Mary treasured up all these things and pondered them in her heart.
The offering we give each week is a symbol of our commitment to this faith community and to the life and works of our congregation. Instructions on how to donate online are in the order of service. Today's offering will be given to Family Promise Metro West, whose mission is to transform the lives of families with children facing homelessness by mobilizing a diverse community to provide shelter, education, and comprehensive support. Family Promise serves low and moderate income families with children under 18 who are homeless or at risk of homelessness. These families are Massachusetts residents with priority given to families from Metro West region. Family Promise welcomes all genders and family compositions. Their 4 programs provide a continuum of support to families in varying stages of housing instability, from shelter services to transitional support to preventing the loss of a family's home or a family's entry into shelter. In the new year, First Parish in Wayland will participate in a Family Promise pilot project, supporting a wide variety of needs for one unhoused Metro West family. To learn more about this project, watch our website and newsletters. We receive your generosity with gratitude and in appreciation of all that sustains us. Your gifts maintain the strength of this community and all it does within these walls, as well as the work we do together to make the world a better place. The offering will now be given and gratefully received.
This is Where the Light Begins, a poem by Jan Richardson. Perhaps it does not begin. Perhaps it is always. Perhaps it takes a lifetime to open our eyes, to learn to see what has forever shimmered in front of us. The luminous line of the map in the dark, the vigil flame in the house of the heart, the love so searing we cannot keep from singing, from crying out in testimony and praise. Perhaps this day will be the mountain over which the dawn breaks. Perhaps we will turn our face toward it, toward what has been always. Perhaps our eyes will finally open in ancient recognition, willingly dazzled, illuminated at last. Perhaps this day, the light begins in us.
Now we invite you to rise as you're willing and or able and join in singing "It Came Upon the Midnight Clear." We're going to sing verses 1, 2, and 4. The word came in the time of trouble. "Come," said the angel, "come to Bethlehem. A miracle has taken place." And the shepherds asked, "What is this great miracle? Is the king unseated? Are the people free?" But the angel simply told them, "A child has been born." And the shepherds did not understand. So the angel said, "To you this child is born." Still they did not see. So the angel told them, "A birth is holy. It is life. It is wonder. And is hope for all the people." And choirs sang goodwill, and the heavens prayed for peace, and the shepherds, eyes open to wonder, went to see, their minds amazed and their hearts rejoicing. "Fear not," said the angel. "Do not be afraid." But honestly, the shepherds must have had quite a shock. The sky was brighter than usual that night, making it easier to keep track of the sheep. And then it got really bright. Really, really bright. Blinding, in fact. You might have thought that all that glory shining would have been enough, but instead, what the angel says is that a baby, a helpless newborn baby, born in a stable, was the sign, the message that more love is found when you least expect it, and even maybe resides in the ordinariness of your life. The angels are storytellers, messengers, telling what has happened. And the shepherds then become messengers themselves, echoing the story of the angels, mirroring their songs. They were quick learners. It's nearly Christmas, and the thing is, Christmas always, always comes. Still, for many of us, this year has been hard. Some have had many losses. Some of us are wondering, where is that hope, that joy that we expect this time of year? Where's that star that we were promised, the bright light that beckons us to take heart and follow? Now, as it was back then, it may be hard to find the brightness some days. And lo, the angel of the Lord came upon them, and the glory of the Lord shone about them, and they were sore afraid. And the angel said unto them, "Fear not." Which is maybe a silly thing, says poet Lynn Unger, for a creature made of wings and eyes to say to a couple of schmoes who were just hanging out with their sheep until the heavens cracked open. Who wouldn't be afraid? And who stops being afraid because someone tells you? And yet, fear not is the thing that angels say, apparently. An angel says it to Mary and to Joseph, fear not. As if that would undo the panic of the moment, let alone all the hardship to come. The story never says if Mary or Joseph or the shepherds were comforted by these fear-denying angels. Likely not. But all of them moved forward, did the next thing that was to be done, which is about all you can ask. And maybe when the word came from Herod about smiting babies and they had to run, maybe when all the daily terrors of life descend, it could be good to have the angelic voices whispering, "Fear not," all the way down the long road, and reminding you about those tidings of great joy. The thing is that angels in the scriptures are not cute, chubby Hallmark angels. There's a reason they say fear not. Their appearance surprises the heck out of everyone they appear to. They're a wake-up call with life-changing messages that "do not be afraid" was both basic, don't be afraid right now as you're quaking in your boots because I'm here, and prophetic. Don't be afraid to hear and act on this message, to do what it is that you are called to do and to be. The angels in the story remind us that we have to participate in making the world a better, safer place for all people. The world needs less fear and hesitancy and more hope, more peace, more love, more joy, more life. And we have to play a role in making that happen. So it was Bethlehem, the year 4 BC maybe. Times were uncertain, the economy shaky. There was a tyrant in charge. Israel was under occupation. There were mandates, travel restrictions. No Fox News or CNN. Everyone had to decide their own truth, what action to take based on what they heard and saw, which is actually still true today. And truth? Well, truth is really hard to know. How do we know what's true? And if we can't be sure of truth, then we need hope. But where do we look to find hope? Where do we put our trust? What do we focus on? The wise folk, the astrologers, followed a star so bright it lit up the sky. A comet, astronomers say. The shepherds saw a brightness in the east that spoke to them in the voice of angels saying, "Fear not." There's a lot of fear not in this story. We could really use that right now. We could also use a comet or an angel or two appearing, am I right? The thing is, though, we may just need to make our own brightness by focusing on the small gifts of the season. I heard a story on the podcast Ear Hustle about a camp for children of men incarcerated at a California state prison. The camp is called Camp Grace, and it happens once a year near the holidays. For a couple of days, the children spend time inside the prison with their fathers. These are fathers and children who may not have seen each other for years, or only on short visits with other family members. The episode focused on one pair in particular, Jose and his son Alex. Jose was interviewed ahead of time, and he was pretty anxious. There's a lot riding on these 2 days of camp for dads who haven't really gotten to be fathers to their kids. Jose worried that he wouldn't know what to say to Alex. He'd been inside 10 years, and Alex had grown so much since the days when Jose changed his Pampers and could cradle him in his arms. Alex, for his part, didn't really know Jose outside of occasional prison visits. When the doors finally opened and the fathers stood waiting for their children, Jose hung back, unsure. But when Alex bounded into his arms, there were big smiles all around. Over the 2 days, through music, crafts, and games, Camp Grace helps inmates put aside their prison personas and reconnect with fatherhood. But relationships strained by incarceration can be hard to fix. Jose and Alex moved tentatively at first, then seemed more and more relaxed. By the end of the first day, they could not stop touching each other's faces, arms, and shoulders, as if they couldn't believe that the other was real. And on the second day, Alex called out to Jose, "Hey, Dad, I'm going to the bathroom." That was the first time he had ever called Jose Dad. He turned around to be sure Jose had heard him and met his eyes. And that moment, that was a small miracle that lit up the whole place. There were more than a few tears in people's eyes. Tiny miracles like this one, small bright spots, can be like stars that guide and sustain and nurture us. And we need to keep looking for those bright points of light right now. These are our guiding stars, the lights that guide us to our true home, back to love, to connection, to our true selves. This is A. Powell Davies. The legends never drifted out of the darkness into a premature daylight. They have stayed quite close to the inner truth from which they draw their substance. The truth that we must find our faith not in the daylight, but in the dark. We must make our songs in the darkness and sing them at first midnight. We must proclaim in the desert a highway when there is no way at all, not even a path or a trail. We must, and evidently we can. That spirit of goodness and kindness, it kindles a light, and no matter how little a light it may be, the darkness cannot put it out. It says, "Be not afraid. The good and the true are stronger than anything that stands against them, and sooner or later they will prevail." The darkness is truly vast, but across it there's a path of light, a path of moving light. The light was there in a stable in Bethlehem, and it was there in a prison visiting room. It's there for all of us if we just know how to look. If the wise folk were actually astrologers, seers, they may have seen how short the life of this babe would be. And then it's no wonder that they moved so swiftly toward the brightness, the light which will not last but outshines all other lights while it is here. Davies reminds us, yes, in the darkest hour we may find the brightest hope. We know that sometime there will be a world in which our inhumanity to one another is ended, a world of gladness from which all cruelty is gone, in which the joy of each is the joy of everyone, the sorrow of each, the sorrow of all. There will be such a world because there's a song that sings it at midnight, and because in the darkest hour there comes a light to those who sit in the darkness, and new hope to those who in the wilderness must walk beneath the shadow of death. Because this is true, friends, let's open our hearts to Christmas. Open them to all the hope that stands against a world that's filled with evil things. Open them wide enough for gentleness in a world that is bitter and harsh, for loveliness in a world that is desolate, for faith and the song of its joy that sings in the presence of the holy. Why wait till midnight? Christmas begins right now. Focus on the goodness. Keep turning toward the light. Let there be an outpouring of gifts showing who we truly are, that this light in us is the only truth we really need to know. Follow the brightness, follow that star, the one in your heart and mine, the one that lights up the world as it was lit up on that night so long ago. Because Christmas always, always comes to those in prison and to their dear children in the magic of the word Dad, to those whose mortality is right in front of them, inescapable, offering chances to grasp bright moments every day, and to all of us right here, maybe worried about the future, hoping for a brighter day. May the Christmas star light your way this year as you look for the brightness in the eyes of your loved ones, the candles gleam, the lights of the season, and the star in your heart. And may that star lead you even more deeply to love, which is the true light of this season, the brightness that is here with us every day of the year. Merry Christmas, dear friends. Merry Christmas. And now, the ushers will begin to pass the flame for our candles. Please remember to tip the unlit candle toward the lit candle for safety, and please assist children with their candles. And if you're watching at home, you might want to light a candle too, or just imagine one. As the flame is passed, we'll sing Silent Night, staying seated, followed by a moment of silence. And now I invite you to please carefully extinguish your candles and rise as you're willing and or able and join in singing Joy to the World. When the song of the angels is stilled, when the star in the sky is gone, when the kings and the princes are home, when the shepherds are back with their flocks, the work of Christmas begins. To find the lost, to heal the broken, to feed the hungry, to release the prisoner, to rebuild the nations, to bring peace among the people, to make music in the heart. Beloved, this work of Christmas is the work of us all. May you carry the spirit of this place and of this evening out into the world and be a blessing to all those you meet. And may you yourselves feel the blessing of Christmas.